praises, glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Makakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Red Millstone, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely, and shalom to the Akim scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely, and shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is it's an outside walk and talk lesson through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua on this September the 9th, 2022, on this Friday afternoon at 4:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. And this is a news article for in the news on from CNN.com. And this news article I seen earlier. So I was camping with the brothers. I was like, let me do it a little bit later, you know. So I'm doing it right now. And this is a news article from Eugene Shai and Larry Register and Heather Chin of CNN, updated at 3:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on September the 9th, 2022. And it's the highlight of this news article, and it reads: North Korea declares itself a nuclear weapon state in a irreversible move. And it says North Korea has passed a new law declaring itself as a nuclear weapon state in a move. It says in a move leader Kim Jong-un says is irreversible. And it says Kim vows the country would never give up its nuclear weapons. And it says there be no negotiation and denuclearization. As he hailed the passage of the law, North Korea stated, media reported Friday. And it says the new law also ensures the Pyongyang rights to use a presumptively nuclear strike to protect itself, right? Because you have tensions, and this makes a lot of sense because you have South Korea, Japan, and the United States, you know, trying to stop North Korea from its nuclear capability, you know. So as you know, Kim Jong-un, he vowed to never give up his nuclear weapons. And that's why I believe there was a report came out about a couple of days ago saying that the three nations, Japan, South Korea, and the United States, they're gonna agree all together to stop North Korea with its nuclear capability, you know. As Kim Jong-un, he said he vows to keep his nuclear capability. He's not going to give up on it, you know, even if it's a UN violation of the nuclear capabilities, you know. So yeah, these wars and rumors of wars are definitely heating up. But I'm continuing on reading the news article. It says the new law also enshrines Pyongyang right to use presumptively nuclear strikes, protect itself, updating a previous stance under which it says Salaki. It says updating a previous stance under which it would keep its nuclear only until other countries denuclearize and would not use them presumptively, which I highly doubt. It says and against non-nuclear states, and it says nuclear weapons represents the identity, body, and the sort of power of the state. Kim said as he welcomed the decision by the country's rubber stamp preliminary the Supreme Court People's Assembly to pass the new law. It says in a unanimous vote, and it says the adoption of laws, regulations, relates to the national nuclear force policy in a remarkable event, as it's the declaration that would legally acquire war deterrent as a means of national defense. Kim says, as long as the nuclear weapons exist on Earth, and imperialism and the Salakia for the walk past music. And it says, Salakia for the music in the back. It says, as long as the nuclear weapon exists on Earth and the imperialism and the anti-North Korea maneuvers of the U.S. and its followers remain our road to strengthen our nuclear force. It says it will never end. It says the new law also bans the sharing of nuclear technology in other countries. And it says, continuing on with the reading of the news article, it says it comes amending rising regional tensions over North Korea's expansion over the nuclear weapons and missile programs. It says Kim has increasingly proactive threats of nuclear conflict between the United States and its allies in Asia as recent months. And it says at the same time, the U.S. has become increasingly concerned that North Korea may be preparing to carry out its first underground nuclear test in years. Right, because you know that goes to the ICBM missiles, which is intercontinental ballistic missiles. Because you know, throughout this whole year, in the year 2022, you know they've been firing off about close to about 17 to 18 missiles so far. You know, and the United States and South Korea and Japan, you know, they look at that as a threat. You know, so that goes more further into the rumors of wars increasing between the nations. And it says Yang Moon Jin, a professor of University of North Korea Studies in Seoul, Korea. It says that the law demonstrated Pyongyang hopes to strengthen its relations. Right, Pyongyang hopes to strengthen its relations with China and Russia, and at the same time heightening global tensions. And it says North Korea, Salakia for the noise in the background. And it says North Korea mentioned the possibility of using nuclear weapons if it has made an attack on the other state, and the latest is imminent and significant, even though it states of nuclear weapons and its defense, last resort, Yang said. So, you know, so that lets you know that goes into Joel 3 and 10. Let the weak say I am strong. And that's why you're seeing these nations are not giving up their nuclear capability. And I'm bring out that scripture as well too, in regards to that news article what Kim Jong-un said. Salakia, bear with me 1 second. Yeah. This is the book of This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this amongst the Gentiles. Prepare war, wake up the mighty men, and let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. And that's what you're seeing. Joel 3 and 10. Beat your plowshares into swords and the blunt hooks, and let the weak say I'm strong. Right, because you're seeing these nations saying that they are strong with their nuclear capability, as you see in that report from Kim Jong-un, you know. But even though a lot of reports are not going to be 100% accurate and true, but that's what it says in the latter days, Matthew 24 and 6, ye should hear of wars and rumors of wars, and that's what we are hearing. So that's an increase of a rumor of war right there. which is, most likely 90 to 95% chance that might be a accurate, true story. So that's why you're seeing these nations increasing with this wars and rumors of wars, as it's definitely heating up. It's going to continue to heat up in these latter days of these nations got animosity, conflicts between one another, animosity between the nations, as you see, as it's starting to increase on an everyday basis, And I'm going to bring it out as well, too, since I mentioned it. And this is the book of Matthew 24:6. And this is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, say that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Right, because we're seeing all these things are happening on the planet Earth, because these are biblical prophecies in the end times that we are currently living in, And I'm going to drop the verse 7. Matthew 24:7. For nation shall rise against nations, and kingdom against kingdoms. And there shall be famines, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places, right? Because we're seeing a rise and increase of earthquakes in diverse places around the world. As we've seen that 6.8 magnitude earthquake rocked China over there, they got messed up. And then, you've been seeing the droughts, the famines, the pestilence, you're starting to see these things to increase in the latter days. And you're going to see more and more of these things are increasing in the latter days, And I'm going to go to Matthew 24:8. All these are the beginning sorrows, right? Because these are the beginning stages of sorrows. These things are events that's taking place on the planet Earth, So yeah, these things are definitely going to increase more and more and more, And I'm going to bring out that Revelations 11:14. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring out Luke 21:9. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9, and it reads, it says, but when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be not sacrificed, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by, right? Because we're seeing these things taking place on the earth, because the men of the Lord, the true servants, the true prophets of Yahweh, we're going to know these things before, they come, because we're starting to see it increase more and more and more in the times that we're, currently living in. So these things are going to increase more and more and more as we see these things. So we're going to see these things take place on the planet Earth continuously. And so as you see right here, you got North Korea declares itself a weapon state. That thing goes back into that Joel 3:10. Let the weak say I am strong. Even if it's Japan, South Korea, and the United States, even though they all allegiance together with one another to go against North Korea, because North Koreans said, hey, we're not giving up our nuclear capability, and we declare our state as a nuclear state, And it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing with Iran. Iran, they're not going to give up their nuclear capabilities as well too. So that Joel 3:10 definitely coming into full effect, as we see these things progresses. Won't be surprised Iran say the same thing, just like North Korea, So with that, hope to sit down, outside lesson, walk and talk was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Al-Shai. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Karkadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim scattered in the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I would say shalom and a ball.